yesterday morning, I came out into the front yard and the dogs were across the road. And as soon as they saw me, they came bounding over. And I just made it into the front door.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back!
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
Indeed. Hello, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. It's June 1st. We got a fresh set of downs over here. It's June 2026. And boy, we have a great one tonight. I knew it was going to be good, and then it just started getting the concept just got better and better. Now we got a room full of people that are going to it's just going to be a great night. And you guys are going to get a whole bunch of personal lore. You guys are going to get a whole bunch of incredible just conversation across the board. So it's going to be good. I think that you're going to enjoy yourself. And we got a 120-minute voyage together. So before we get started, it's also, remember, this is the week of the Quite Frankly Spring Fling. So on Friday night is the VIP night. On Saturday is the main event. And this is the only public event that we're having this year because of the baby arriving in November. So just going to be keeping it close to home and doing what I do best. And that's that. So it's a big week. And I would love it if you give me just one moment to thank a sponsor of not only that event, but also this show. And that is Pharmalogical Bone Broth. And I got to say, they, Molly and Ollie, Molly from Keto Brains and Pharmalogical. First of all, there's about 100 of you out there, at least over the last couple of weeks, who have gotten those samples of the bone broth, been put out there. Well, this week, for the next 4 days, you use this promo code. Use this promo code. Oh, there's everybody. You're going to see them in just a second. Get the hell out of here, everybody. There you go. Use this promo code KBZ20 on Pharmalogical.com. That's Pharmalogical.com. And you're getting not only 20% off of the bone broth, that is, when I say regenerative, it is. It strengthens the connective tissue, boosts your immune system, optimizes your fasts as well if you're into the intermittent fasting, which is huge. Heals the gut lining so that everything else that you eat actually goes to the rest of your parts. To hell with that. You need it. You need your gut. So please go out there and use this KBZ20, and it's going to get you in the running for a $1,000 prize giveaway at the end of the week. That is going to be a combination of the bone broth and also Molly. There you go. And the Keto Brains together. They're going to be $1,000. Get the bone broth. Go to Pharmalogical.com, KBZ20, get 20% off and get in on this. And that's at the end of the week that drawing is. All right. And I thank you so much because that really, really helps the operation over here. So support our supporters. Okay, so now what do we got going on tonight? Well, we're going to be jumping into all types of fun stuff that you guys and gals have become accustomed to on this show for many years now. And we've got new characters in the room to talk about it. Well, to my left, we're going to start with Anthony. Anthony's back.
Hey, how you doing?
Anthony had to be here tonight because we've got characters, we've got figures from our childhood in the room. And it's just going to be a good time. And of course, you know, Anthony and I and Mike We had a really wonderful Saturday night broadcast. Go check that out. That's Zadal's in New York.
This is the third broadcast in a row, actually, for me.
I know.
Friday, Saturday, Monday.
That's right. Playhouse, Zadal's in New York, and now, quite frankly,
Yeah.
Anthony's on a
It's
roll.
unusual.
Yeah, he never live streams. Now he's doing 3 nights in a row. And okay, across the street over there, I don't know who to interview first or introduce first. Let's just go to our man Chris Laparco. Chris,
how's it going?
How the hell you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Dude.
Really excited.
Hey, we're going to get into everything, but we go back a long way. You are
Yes.
an author. I want to talk about your work because it really has a lot to do with themes of this show and things that we just all really love so much. Just the mystical nature of reality, the battle between heaven and hell, the end times, our role in the whole thing. I don't know. It's a fun time. Tell everybody a little bit about what your life's work is.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm an author, I'm an illustrator. I have a series called A Story Told, storytoldbook.com. Heaven and hell, battling it out, modern day fantasy. It's about the heroes who put their faith in God and rise up against, the evil forces of darkness. Aside from that, I'm actually also in manufacturing. I have my own company called Nebo Global Enterprises and based in Asia. We were just talking about how I'm actually living in China recently. So that's been a fun time. And yeah, making all kinds of toys and apparel and you name it, we make it. So yeah, so
I couldn't believe when I was talking to you first, it didn't really dawn on me that you were that far away. I thought that you might have moved to Pennsylvania or something, but no, we're a couple of oceans away. But it's good to have you in tonight,
yeah,
man.
it's great being here, man. Thanks.
Okay, and next to you, do you want to introduce the guy next to you?
This guy right here,
Yeah,
Johnny.
Johnny.
What's happening?
Johnny. Do you go by your last name on the internet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I do. Santa.
Okay, Johnny Santa.
Yeah.
Santa Paranormal.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, Johnny and Anthony and Johnny go back to elementary school. Johnny and I were actually, what were we? Shepherds? You, me, and Mike?
Yeah, we were.
In the Christmas play in 1992?
In 1992, we were shepherds.
We were shepherds. Now we're not. Now we're too
Yeah.
old to be shepherds.
Yeah.
We don't. But anyway, Johnny, you have been able. We've done a lot of stuff over the years. We've used to jam out in bands. You've had broadcasts that have been produced and engineered at our past studio location, and now you preside over a really incredible amount of subscribers who love to see your paranormal investigations and your trips through the spookier side of our existence, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think this is all. I said I have to bring everybody together for this one.
Well, Johnny was our first singer.
Yes,
If you really want to be technical,
I might
when
have.
we started, my first show ever being on stage was a Portchester Battle of the Bands. And I was 12 years old, and Johnny was the singer.
That's right. You played bass. That's right.
I think I was in the audience for that show.
You were.
That was my first show, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the audience.
And actually,
Shit, man, you should have been singing this whole time.
half of that show.
I didn't have it back then.
Neither did I, bro.
What was it? Half of that show Johnny spent pretending to be dead on the stage.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Somebody came in.
Yeah.
Somebody came in. He arranged for somebody to come in and hit him in the head with a wet paint sign. And during Anthony's bass solo, Johnny laid dead on the stage. And Anthony was
with
playing,
the Hannibal Lecter mask.
What were you? You were doing my friend of misery.
Oh, I was doing some. Yeah, it was like a Metallica bass solo. In this, like how Newstead and Cliff Burton used to do. Just wasn't, nearly as good.
Well, listen, you know what? Later on tonight, if we have some extra time, maybe I can find that Battle of the Bands footage. I have a big archive on Dropbox I can access. But okay, so here's where all of our stories converge. The first thing I'd like to bring up before we get into everything, I think it's an interesting. What I remember when I think of everybody in this room in particular, I think of the Corpus Christi Teen Center.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the teen center It was a very, very limited experiment in the basement of our childhood parish where we all went to school.
The old chapel.
The old chapel.
Yeah.
And Chris, you were running the teen center.
I was.
Because you were about 10 years older than us, 9 years older than us?
I was born 1978, so what does that make me?
About.
So he's 5 years older than me,
Yeah.
and then 7 and
7,
9.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
Okay.
Holy
So-
shit! Did I just do math?
Yeah, you did.
Johnny Mathin, man.
Wow.
No, it's correct. It's so we're in the bit. These are some of the best memories of my childhood over there. Because first of all, these were some of those first nights that we were allowed to just leave the house by ourselves because we're going to Corpus Christi. We're going to the teen center. They had a couple of billiards tables. They had cable access, so we would sit around, all of us, and we would not only play pool, but we would watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We would WWE.
Yes.
And we talk about comic books, and it was a really good thing.
Everything.
That was awesome.
It was fun. It was a great time.
But we always went to spooky places with it. You know, that the Buffy the Vampire stuff, that was very important to just, Johnny lived that life even back then. So, I mean, it's just, it's incredible that this is what everybody's still doing. It's still very interesting to me. You're publishing stuff. Johnny's streaming and investigating. He's going to all the murky corners of the planet.
Yep.
Shit. And did you ever go there for the teen centers?
You know, it's funny you're talking about this, and I feel like I have secondhand memories of it because at that time, I don't think I was really hanging out with you in the teen center, but when it came time to play in bands and jam out, when that group kind of moved over to the basement and we started making music, that's when I was around more, but I would always hear the stories. And I don't know if you were exaggerating the stories, but you'd always talk about how you would always tell me stories about Johnny talking about fighting goths.
Oh yes.
It sounded like it was always like an episode of that, either Buffy the Vampire Slayer or that show Angel. Remember that show Angel?
It's a spinoff, right?
Yeah, it was the spin-off.
Yeah, so it was like, but that was pretty popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
The late 90s. But Johnny had a way of convincing us that, you had a way of convincing us that you were the real deal. Like you were like actually, you embodied that character in real life. And that's how I took it. Thank
you for not staking me.
No, it's funny because, I was entertained by it, but I was also really, it was intriguing to me because I was like, it made me like, it was attractive to think that this life was adventurous and there was a supernatural aspect to it. And it made my childhood magical in that way. It gave it a lot more magic.
Oh yeah.
Because it was really entertaining.
We definitely had a lot of fun. It's like, Frank, listen, and Anthony, I think you were there because I think we were all there. Do you remember when we were all in what would have been, I believe, my 8th grade Christmas play?
Yeah.
Okay, the Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Kiss Christmas Carol. You were the ghost of Christmas
It
Present.
was the ghost of Christmas Present. Do you remember when the ADHD got the best of me and I loaded up a book bag?
Yeah.
full of so many books, and I went to the top of the new wing of the school that was just created, and there was a nice little chute, a nice little path all the way down to the bottom. And let me tell you something, I took that book bag and I threw it down with as much force as I could, screaming, and I can scream at the top of my lungs. The chaos that ensued. And I couldn't stop laughing.
But there's a whole other part to that story.
Is there? I don't remember. You would have to.
You said didn't you used to tell the story?
Go ahead.
Because here's the thing. My perspective of the whole incident was I just heard the scream.
Right.
And Miss Zach, she was.
Yes,
we were doing
I felt so bad.
We were in rehearsal. And you were interrupting. The scream interrupted the rehearsal, and Miss Zach immediately ran outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my perspective. We just hear this scream and this loud noise.
For this particular incident, we were in a pre-K classroom. It was the end of school day. All of the people who are part of the Christmas play was in this pre-K classroom to do this rehearsal. We were still like on the book, as they say, and doing script read-throughs. And it wasn't Johnny's scene. So Johnny intimated to me that he was going, do you dare me? Or that he was going to do something. And this classroom was right at the base of a spiral staircase in this new wing. So the door to the stairwell was right across the street, the hallway from this classroom. It was right there.
Perfect acoustics.
He just slipped out of the room with a packed, heavy ass book bag. And you can, in about maybe a minute and a half passed because he was just making his way up to the top level of the staircase. And it sounded like somebody threw themselves off of a third floor platform and hit the ground because he screamed as he dropped his book bag.
Didn't he say that, like, didn't he tell you something like, am I making this up? What did he say before he went up there?
Wait,
do you remember?
Was it about how he was going to show me that he can survive the fall?
Right.
Yes. He was going to show me that he could survive the fall because he wasn't human. You know, he was this. Johnny used to say he was a vampiric angel named Angelus. Yes. And that he was going to prove to me that he could throw himself from the top of the staircase and survive. And which is ridiculous. Why would he scream? There's nothing to be scared of.
Is that still the character in the book, by the way? Is that all still the same lore?
Well, I can't use the name Angelus.
No,
that's from Buffy the Vampire
we had to
Slayer,
go with the but the same character, the same.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
John's in there.
Yeah.
He's a former angel that was, the order. He was the symbol of order.
Yep.
From the time of creation, but then he gets reincarnated after he fights Legion, and his body gets separated from his spirit and gets reborn.
Well, don't tell them at all because they have to read the book.
Well, they got to read the books, but it goes into the Man and Machine series that's on the internet for free.
Yes.
So there's 3 novels, and then there's 2 online series. The 2 online series are free to read on the website.
You see, Chris, this is why I was so happy to bring you in and to talk about all this stuff and have Johnny and Anthony right here, because these are things that they could have been chapters in our lives. Into the fact that they have become at least portions of them. That same the root of that creativity actually found its way to some paper.
Now I have to read this.
Oh, 100%.
I have to read this.
It's all everything that we used to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
There's a lot.
I've changed a few things because over time, as I've studied more and gotten more into like studying, like we were talking about, like extra biblical books and things like that, and trying to bring in some of that lore as well. So
real quick, I always talk, and this is completely off topic. I do.
Get those microphones a little bit closer to your mouths.
This is completely off topic.
There you go. Yeah, go ahead.
I talk about meatballs quite a bit. All right, the best meatballs I've ever had. The best meatballs.
Parm wedge.
The best meatballs. Let me tell you something. In my top five is your grandfather.
Really?
In my top 5 is your grandfather. Yep.
I never had that.
Yep. In my top 5 is those days.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah.
They did well.
Yeah. They did well. Amazing.
I miss all the. I'll tell you something else there. We always talk about, whenever I think about my grandfather, there's a lot to say and a lot to think about. But what I'll always remember is that for years, all of our band practices were in the basement. And it was either my grandfather was right above that paper thin floor, or one of my grandfather's tenants was above that paper thin floor, and he was on the 3rd floor. And regardless if it was somebody else or himself, we were allowed to practice down there.
Yes, we were.
And we made a fucking lot of noise.
We made a lot of noise.
A lot of noise, man.
Yes,
a lot.
We did.
And that's just one of those things where gotta be grateful. Things you take for granted.
The things you don't think about when you're a child.
No. No, we took a lot of things for granted. A lot of things. Let's go back to something. You're talking about extra biblical books. Of course, we were talking about Enoch before.
Yeah.
But let me bring up one thing in particular, and that is the 3 days of darkness.
Oh boy!
Now
you're bringing that up. Now that's Johnny's. That
Oh,
was
my
Johnny's
God.
favorite thing to talk about.
Of course it was.
We were training for the 3 days of darkness for years.
Oh, we all were.
We were training for it.
So I mean, I just want to go one step.
We all
further
had
back.
me and Chris had a whole.
Oh,
We
we gotta go back a little bit.
What do you think? I'm the only one?
We got to go back a little bit
Fill in
further,
the
Johnny,
gaps.
because we're missing a very crucial character in this story that
we
you
are.
guys don't
Oh my
remember that
God.
well, but that really grandfathered all this in and brought us all together, and that's Andre.
And that's Andre.
Our friend Andre. He, for the
He was the
longest
root.
time,
He
thought
was the
he was the
cause.
Highlander.
Yeah, he thought he was immortal.
He literally would tell us
Dude.
that he was immortal. His brother was this one horseman. He said he had the horsemen. And I was one, Johnny was one, his brother was one, and he was one. And he was bringing us all back together. And that's where this all first
that
started.
goddamn teen
Wow.
center.
I was with
Yeah.
Andre in California in 1998. And and we were in a bar in California, and Andre was drinking a lot that night. And he goes to me, he goes, Chris. I was like, yeah, Andre? He goes, you know that feeling the Highlander gets when there's another immortal in the room? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I have that feeling right now. I was like, what's going to happen? What is going to happen?
Dude. What a character,
Wait a minute.
man. What
Wait
a
a minute.
character.
I'm actually kind of getting a little deja vu because I feel like you may have mentioned him years ago.
Oh, 100%.
I just don't know if we ever met him.
100%.
I don't- definitely
Listen, let me
never
tell you
met
something.
him, but-
As a teenager, and a young teenager, we're talking, well, when did I start hanging out with you guys? 12, 13?
Yeah, you were young.
Is when I was young. I was the youngest one in the group. Okay, I was,
We're getting so much context here. You
Yeah,
realize
I
like
was
there's
the
so many
youngest-
gaps being
Yeah,
filled.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You needed me here to fill in that extra space.
Oh my god.
So I was youngest one. I was what? Yeah, 12, 13 years old. I mean, I idolized Andre. I mean, he was everything to
Yeah, because
us.
Andre's 3 years older than me.
He's 3 years older than Chris, and he was just like, I don't know. He was the embodiment of everything cool at the time.
He was super cool.
right.
He's still
Somebody-
a good friend of
somebody-
mine.
Yeah, he's still a great-
very
he's
good
still a
friend of
great
mine.
dude, but
He's
at the
totally
time-
different now.
Somebody-
Totally different.
it's totally
Married,
different.
5 kids or something like that.
Somebody in the chat room just said every friend group has an Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone has an Andre, yes.
Yeah, Johnny was our Andre.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so the 3 days of darkness in particular.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
This is because there's so many places to go to. We were thinking about this, and I know that this finds its way into your writing, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
3rd book.
we were talking about this for a while.
Frank, were you building a lightsaber
I was trying to.
for it? Right? You
Yes.
were, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Oh, that is so awesome. How awesome is that, dude?
I was trying to.
You were trying to so hard.
I was trying to
I
build a
wish you
lightsaber.
did. You know?
But do you remember why we even got into the 3 Days of Darkness? It had nothing to even do with the prophecy. So I'm going to get a little weird here because I normally don't talk about this kind of stuff. But Johnny and I, we actually used to have some visions and some dreams and some things
Yes.
that would bring a lot of this
Yes.
up to the
Lot of-
surface.
lot of dreaming,
And one
a lot
time
of-
we were standing outside my house, me, him, and I think Herb was there.
Yes.
And I collapsed to the ground and I had a vision. I had a vision of when God was creating everything.
No, that was in your basement.
No, that was outside my
Was it
front. It was
outside?
outside. It was on my front lawn. I remember like it
Oh,
was
yeah,
yesterday.
you're right, you're right, you're
And
right,
I
you're
had
right,
a
it
vision
was.
because we were looking at the constellations because we're
Yes.
always talking about you
Yes.
know the things with the pyramids lining up and all that stuff. And I had the vision of when God created and this like mist appeared in heaven and then he cast it out. Right. And it was this darkness. And we started getting this whole thing about the darkness and started doing all this research into what is this evil? What is this darkness? What is the true thing behind what's evil out there? Then I was reading the book of Enoch and all that stuff and started putting more pieces together. But then we found the prophecy about the 3 days of darkness. And we're like, oh, could it be tied in with this thing that Chris had this vision about?
Yeah.
And so then that's why we were all like gung ho about it, because it's like I had a vision and we started getting into it and we're studying it. Then there's these 3 days of darkness. Oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? And so yeah.
Well, first of all, we were obviously because we just wanted to speculate. This was so in our wheelhouse. You know, and there's a lot here. We can go back to 2000, 2001, but I remember, like, for example, some people thought, is it possible? Mayan calendar, December 21st, 2012. Could the 3 days of darkness actually be starting on December 21st? And then, of course, it all comes, Christmas Day, it's all regenerates again. And then, locking everything up, answering the doors for nobody, no lights except a blessed candle. And, anything outside the door is a deception. Yeah. It could be the voice of your loved ones. It's not them. Don't open it up.
I remember all of this.
We were convinced we were going to train. We were going to train our mind, our swords, everything, and we were going to be the ones that were going to be able to survive outside of the houses, battling the demons with.
Yes.
I believe that too.
But we used to train.
We did. We used to train.
We used to like train.
Well,
I wish I had pictures.
I have something.
Because I have a picture of me holding Herbert over my head. But I want a picture of me when I held Johnny, when he weighed 260 pounds, when I held Johnny over my head.
No, I weighed more than that, dude. I weighed more than that.
I remember I picked up Johnny.
I was bordering 300. Dude, I was bordering. Well, speaking of that, you guys want to hear a funny story about Chris real quick? And an amazing one.
I got to hear this funny story. I'm a little nervous.
So, he just had a bad breakup.
Oh, boy.
Right? Not going to mention any names.
Oh, boy.
He had a horrible breakup.
Oh, boy.
Right? And as a friend, there I am. I'm there for him. And me and another buddy, you're going to hear him named Herb a lot. All right? He's a buddy of ours.
Boy.
So the three of us, three amigos.
John, make sure you angle that down a little bit more.
So the three of us, the three amigos, there we are. We're doing our thing. We're consoling our buddy. He's just getting more pissed off. He's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And once he gets like that, it's like, all right, are we going to be able to stop this dude if he goes on a rampage? A rampage is possible. So we get to the corner of the street. This dude picks up a mailbox and launches it. And I mean a mailbox. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen a human being do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but you told the story a little bit different.
Okay, all right. So how'd it go? I'm giving.
No, actually, the launching of the mailbox happened right after the breakup. When she told me the news, I don't hit women, but I was very upset about the news I received. And yeah, when he says a mailbox, he doesn't mean somebody's mailbox.
No, a federal mailbox.
He means a federal mailbox attached to a slab of concrete.
Yes.
And I grabbed it by the two legs at the bottom. I picked it up and I threw it into the middle of the street.
Dude.
And then I punched the stop sign.
Yes.
And the stop sign had my fist imprint in the stop sign. And the police came and the blood was coming down my hand. And the cops came and they didn't arrest me, thank the Lord. And we
broke down the situation.
So they were like, told me to go home. So I started walking home and they're following me home. Yep. And I said, if you're going to follow me, can you at least give me a ride? And they're like, you're not getting in my car. But yeah, I didn't think we were going to talk about this story, but thanks, Johnny.
Well, hold on. I have a story for you that you've probably never heard. We with the whole 3 days of darkness in particular, we had protocols that we were building up.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one thing happened. This one time that we were at Carmona's.
Carmona.
we were at Frank Carmona's building, and we were hanging out on the roof where the pool was on the roof. We were up on the roof. We were on the top floor of his building. Okay. And so we were done doing whatever we were doing on the top floor. So we had, we pressed the button for the elevator to come and pick us up and bring us down. And we're just standing there. It's me, a couple of other friends. Johnny's there. And as we're waiting for the elevator, we said, for the hell of it, we said, Johnny, what if the elevator door opens up and a demon pops out? No shit. I said, what do you what should we do at that point? Like, what if and at this point we're just, just having fun with it. It's not like really like Johnny is the demon, but I just thrown it out there. I said, what should we do? It pops out. What do we do? Swear to God, he says, you guys run, go get Crystal Parko. I'll hold it off.
Okay.
Now wait, Chris.
Yeah.
Every time I think of this story, it's classic because the only way we got around back then, if we're going to get someplace fast, is by skateboard. Yeah. So the idea that we were going to travel on foot to find you somewhere in town and then bring you back to Carmona's, and the whole time Johnny would be locked into a stalemate with a demon, Mortal Kombat. That is just, you don't forget stuff like this. You don't forget stuff like this. Go get Chris Laparco. I'll hold it off. A demon, a hellhound.
Yeah,
And
I'm ready, man.
that's these are the things that make us who we are. I swear to God, it's just so crazy. So
Fun times. Man.
that all
Fun
got
times.
in. When did you publish your first book?
2011. Yeah, because this is 15 years.
And one of your books, at least, because I haven't read it. You brought over your whole box set over here, so I can't wait to read
gave you
it.
guys box sets. I gave you something to give away to the audience.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it. So I can't wait to read it. But I did do some research, and I saw that one aspect of your stories has to do with how essentially every millennium, every 1,000 years, there's some sort of a spiritual purge or almost like what is this?
You're talking about the villain from the first book.
Okay, what?
That every 100 years he has to kill a certain people.
100 or 1,000?
Every 100 he has to.
Okay.
In order to live for another 100 years. And he's the villain from the first book, Radix. And he made a deal with the devil. He signed it. He's got the Necronomicon. And he's the villain from the first book. And so every 100 years he's got to kill a certain 666 people every 100 years. And if he misses his final quota and he doesn't kill everybody within that time frame, then his life ends. Other than that, he can't be killed. He's unkillable. Like you can burn him to ash. You could do anything. I don't want to say too much because some stuff like that happens in the first book, but he's the villain from the first book. Then it goes on from there, and furthers the series. But in the story, the real premise of the whole story is that Satan actually took the DNA of Adam and Eve. And so all the aliens and all the people on the other planets are actually genetic experiments of Satan creating humans from Adam and Eve's DNA that he put on the other planets. And so the main story is about the Nephilim. It's about mixing, demon DNA or fallen angel DNA with human DNA or angel DNA with human DNA. And also about how these people on these other planets, how they survived over time and how their planets were actually taken over by Satan's daughter, Pandora.
So it's almost like a reverse panspermia.
Oh, there you go.
Where there are people who theorize that comets that carried something that could have become had crashed here
reverse exactly
and planted seeds of life here. You're talking about that. That's incredible.
Yeah, we give reasons for why the pyramids were made the way they were made. Mars is involved in it. Other galaxies, and the darkness is at the forefront of the whole thing. The whole thing is about actually the darkness itself and what it really is. And you don't find out till the third book. At the end of the third book, you find out actually what the darkness is.
Okay, talk about the darkness, because that's something we used to talk about a lot with Johnny. So I want to hear you describe it.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much for the book, but recently, and the reason why the third book finally tells you what it is because after lots of years of research and reading multiple biblical texts, extra biblical texts. I mean, I have read through the Bible in 9 different translations, straight through from Genesis all the way through to Revelation, including the original Greek and Hebrew. And so I've been through it so many times. And on top of that, I've read the entirety of the Dead Sea Scrolls, including the, obviously the Book of Enoch, Jasher. I've read the war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, all that stuff so many times. And in all my research of it, I finally figured out what I think the darkness is. But once again, I don't really want to kind of spoil the book, but basically it's the embodiment of evil. There is no opposite to God, in my opinion, because God is God. He's the creator of everything, including the darkness. But the darkness came into being because God made a set of laws called the laws of balance. When God created, everything had to be balanced. So if there's going to be good, there has to be evil. And that's why evil exists. Not because God directly created evil for any purpose, but our belief was that when God created, evil automatically came into existence because of the fact that good needed an opposite. And it kind of goes there. And a lot of lore with Lucifer and the angels, because I do believe in heaven. I do believe in hell. I am Christian. I do believe in the Trinity. I believe in all that kind of stuff. I obviously don't believe that heaven and hell are really as they're depicted in these stories. I feel they're more spiritual and a lot more about hell being the absence of God versus, you know, all the tortures and stuff like that I stole from Dante's Inferno that I put into my books. But I do believe it's a lot more of a concept and a spiritual, you know, feeling than it is like, you know, actual mansions and actual golden streets and things like that in heaven and actual, you know, fire and brimstone and
It's
hell.
interesting you bring that up. Well, first of all, I know that you're a fan of Timothy Alberino.
I am.
And I would love to try to get you guys linked up. But I've had that conversation with him in particular about whether or not heaven has locality.
He believes, totally does.
And you know, and as far as the battles of heaven and hell, you know, from Genesis, and he's talking about. He's the first one I ever spoke to about kinetic warfare. You know, and not just some. I always want to know, what does a battle in heaven look like? Is there just, you know, what does it look like when spirits are fighting each other? I don't get it. It's almost like, what do? You have ghost swords or any? But that's an interesting thing. I love bringing up Johnny. You know, in that respect, before we start bouncing around a little bit more, you spend a lot of time investigating the paranormal, and let me ask you what you believe the other side looks like. Like, is it upside down like Stranger Things? Is it like what Chris is saying? Is it almost like a distorted copy of what we're living in? Do you have any belief of what the other side or the other side of the veil looks like?
So what I can say from the data is that it's a mix of memory, consciousness, and what we make it. Pretty much in a nutshell. Consciousness, memory, and what we make it. Almost the concept that we make our own heavens, we make our own hells. Pretty much it.
So from all, because you're known for talking through that spirit box thing.
Yes.
And is that like the original spirit box where it's actually pulling from AM FM, or what is it?
So I use multiple different types. Like I built my own that pulls the AM FM off. You know, it basically just chops it up, and the spirits can speak through it. These days, I find myself using the apps because I love the idea of the magnometer being affected by the frequency. But, you know, you got to take things with a grain of salt. This is what I always say when it comes to any spirit box or any spirit communication. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. They all say the same things until they don't. And it's when they don't is when it's like, oh, wow, wait a minute. You know, what did I just catch?
What do you think about that, Chris?
I mean, I think Johnny and I have a lot of respect for Johnny. We're old friends. I think we have a slightly different opinion on the afterlife and on spirits and things like that. I believe that everybody goes someplace after they die, and they're no longer here. And the things that we're communicating with are actually demonic beings, either the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim.
I get that all the time.
Demons themselves. I know you do.
That's Deuteronomy. At the end of the day,
we've talked about this a lot of times. We've talked about this a lot of times. And so I believe it's more like malicious spirits.
When
and
the
things
man
like
of
that.
faith and the atheists are friends. You know, I mean, that's basically what it is.
I love people. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
I love people, but
Dead or alive.
But we're able to disagree on.
We have insane conversations about it. You know?
But yeah, I believe it's actually spirits, not human souls, and they just know a lot about the people that were here, and they're able to spew stuff to you. In the Bible, they call them familiar spirits.
But you're right to a degree, because sometimes they are.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think that
sometimes
that's
they are.
opinion.
I can't tell you the amount of. I classify them as interdimensional entities of non-human origin. They were never alive, and they vary. I've so many different types, and I always say they come from heaven and hell-like dimensions and everything in between. And I define a heaven and hell-like dimension depending on how toxic that environment is to humans. So, prime example: an entity comes floating in this room. All of a sudden, you all start getting sick. We all start getting sick. We feel anxious, angry. You know, we don't know what's going on. That entity clearly, whatever vibrational frequency it has, is causing an issue for all of us. Some less than others. Maybe, you know, I'm not as affected as you are, and Anthony's not affected as Frank is. It all depends. It's a mix. But that entity, wherever it comes from, Imagine what that's like if we were to go there. It would be hell for us. You would go there and go, oh, this is hell. You know, this is hell. I'm in hell.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
Right?
Sounds like hell.
Sounds like hell.
Definitely does.
So then let me ask you guys about both of you guys about this. Then you Chris, you were just talking about some concepts from some of your books that may actually provide some really intriguing and refreshing, because at this point it's very hard to find a theory that you haven't heard at least once. But like that reverse panspermia theory that you were bringing, like, you know, the devil snatched DNA from Adam and Eve and started actually going and doing his own genetic experiments on other worlds and bring them here in the form of what? Greys, Nordics, Mantis. You know, there's a lot of talk about UFOs, UFO stuff. That's just what we talk, you know, UFO files they're talking about. We're not even talking about craft at this point. We're talking, and that's what's most interesting about 2026 is we're talking all about creatures. And that's starting to get all of the most mainstream play where it would once be read.
Taboo.
It would be
100%.
It would be mockery.
Yes.
100% mockery. Now we're getting profiles of 4 distinct species on Fox News with Jesse Waters. So how are you guys taking in what is going to be the fruit of the UFO files when they're all done?
You want to go first?
I mean, I'm curious to see what ends up coming out. Now, I believe that obviously something is going on. There is some kind of creatures. People have been abducted by something. I definitely don't think it's all hoaxes. I do believe there's something that's doing it. I do lean more on the side of it being in some way, shape, or form demonic in origin. I don't know to what degree. It could be genetic mutated beings. It could be beings created by demons or something like that. It could be a lot of different things. I don't know what it is. I personally don't believe in life on other planets, but I'm also not going to let something like that shake my faith. I do believe in a big God that can do anything. And so it's still very possible that there could be life on other planets. The Bible doesn't really talk about it at all. But I still feel for some reason, because of the way they act and the way that they're abducting people and things like that and running experiments, it still sounds very sinister and demonic in many ways, in my opinion. But I do know a lot of people just think they're just scientists from other planets trying to study other creatures. So
I mean, that's what we do here.
It is what we do.
That's what we've been doing to animals for a very long time.
I know. It's and it continues in worse ways. That's what we do to people.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about it, I mean, the first thing I have to say this is everything that's been released does not say, hey, aliens exist. It's what it tells me, everything that's been released is, hey, something's going on and the government has no idea what it is, right? However, do we believe that? Does everybody in this room, quick question around here, do you believe the government has no idea what's going on?
No.
There's no way, right?
No, I mean, listen, that was the stance that they took. That was the stance they took. What last winter with the New Jersey drones?
Exactly.
I mean, they're flying over. They're flying over, first of all, sensitive airspace, and nobody knows what's going on.
Come on, of course they do.
No, so it's so.
So all right. So going into that, that's the way I took the read from all that. I personally think it's a mix of everything. I mean, listen, multiple things can be right at once. And those are just the facts. Could some of these things be demonic? Of course. Can some of this be our government? Like our actual government testing stuff that they don't want information out there? You know, the general public to know, our enemies to know, other countries to know? Of course. Is it, aliens, interdimensional entities coming here, curious about us? Listen, there's concept, what if it's us, 10,000 years from now? I mean, listen, so many things could be right. It could be a mix of so much coming to a head that the government's scrambling, going, all right, how we spinning this? How we playing this? How we playing this? That's what I think it is. I mean, think of it like this. Do you remember when you were a child? And I think we even did it once. We would go in your backyard and on your roof and watch for the boomerang, the Hudson Valley boomerang.
Yeah.
Okay. That ended up being whatever stealth bomber. That ended up being a stealth bomber.
I saw it.
I know you did. And that was a
I
real
saw
thing. That was
Mike
a stealth.
Campos and my brothers. We were sitting on the roof watching, and we saw the thing fly over.
That was a stealth bomber.
It shined a spotlight down on us, scanned the neighborhood, and then zoomed
Took
off.
That was a stealth bomber.
Yeah,
Is that
it was
insane?
during a
And
meteor
it's-
shower.
Yeah, years. So this stuff has been going on for a while, and it's just, you know, it's about what probability and possibility. And, you know, anything's possible, but what's probable? And that's the way I break it down and, you know, look at everything.
Well, I've always been most open to the idea of a mixed bag of things.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know. If there's anything I'm agnostic about, it'd be things like that. Just because who the hell knows? And it never limits the ability. It never limits God in his infinite ability to create. Like, for what are you guys? You guys believe in it? How do you see? What's your cosmological view of the world? Are you a flat earther, or are you
Not a flat earther for sure. No.
Okay.
I definitely believe. You know, but
definitely.
I'm going to say something really interesting too. What I think is interesting is people have been seeing stuff like this since the beginning of time. If you even read the Bible, you got people being visited by angels. You have, you know, Ezekiel seeing what he saw in the sky, you know, the wheels inside of wheels with all the eyes and stuff like that. And if you look at the way it's described over time, when people saw stuff in the 50s, it looked like very much like 50s sci-fi movies. And then now it looks even more modern, more technological, and the technology keeps changing. The looks of the things keep changing. That's why I almost wonder if it's some kind of like, it could be something from someplace else, but it almost feels like it's a spiritual thing or something playing with our own fears and with what we perceive. And it's like they're almost using whatever our intelligence level is at the time to appear to us in some way that we can relate to and understand.
Perception is key.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's it's a very significant part of the whole experience. If you look at the fact patterns, like for example, you see what is the most common denominators of a person's experience, either seeing something, coming to contact with it, making contact, whatever the hell it is. There's often a psychic link felt. There's often a feeling of being watched or having been seen, things like that. So it's one thing to get a flyover from the stealth bomber. It's another thing to feel like the stealth bomber was looking at you.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it was scanning something, but it's another thing to know when somebody's eyes are on you in the room. You can just feel eyes on you.
Definitely.
That's a whole other thing. So we go into the powers of the mind. You know, every once in a while, the idea of tulpas will pop up, and whether or not collective human consciousness can make something, can will something into existence, like how, you know, Slender Man was essentially born from creepypasta posts on the internet, and suddenly you have kids that want to kill other kids to be able to appease Slender Man. But also, let me ask you guys this: cryptids.
Yeah.
Where does that fall in for you guys?
Okay, so hold on. Let me start with this
please,
one.
Johnny.
The first thing I have to state is we are constantly discovering new species every year.
Yep.
That's a fact. Sure, a lot of them are small, right? They're small. But the hubris of man thinks that we understand everything around us. We understand our forests. We know we don't understand our oceans because that's where a lot of these discoveries are happening. But it is very probable that there are animals that we have not discovered yet. I mean, listen, the mockumentary that Discovery put out years ago with the mermaids is one of my favorite mockumentaries. It is done so well, and it actually hits home on so many actual factual points. The only thing, if you've ever seen it, the only thing that's made up is the fact that they caught an alien. They caught a mermaid, right? That's the only thing that's not realistic about it. But everything else, the strange noises that they couldn't match to any animal in the ocean, the fact that, I mean, all the basic facts of us, you know, we sit in a bathtub too long, what happens?
You get pruny.
You get pruny. Yeah. Why? So we can grab things in water. You know, we have, there's so many different things. That whole aquatic ape theory, it makes a lot of sense. You know, that something branched off. And that's the other thing, too. We're discovering
so much stuff about our animal ancestors that they did burials. You know, they worshipped deities. These are primate species that we thought were, you know, not evolved enough to do these things. And now every day a new report's coming out that, you know, pre-human civilization discovered here, you know, and, you know, this, that, and the other, and burials and whatnot. So the idea that cryptids exist, yes, I can fully 100% get behind that. And I think it's a possibility. Now, whether Bigfoot's a spiritual being and it's going, I don't like that term Bigfoot, by the way, big feets, because there's no way it's one big, you know, foot hopping around a damn forest. We'd catch it in a heartbeat.
Deers.
Yeah, deers, forest puppies, venison. You know, I like Bigfoot. Like, you know, a lot of people think that Big Feet's, you know, is a spiritual being and it's going through portals in the trees and all that. I've heard some wacky things. But the idea that there are these entities, flesh and blood entities, it's a possibility, and it can't be ignored.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
My turn.
I mean, there's also a hierarchy of this stuff here
It's
too.
a demon. No, I'm just
No, I mean, no. I
It's a hairy demon.
think that the cryptids are a mix of things. Some are either animal species, like Johnny said, that we haven't discovered yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do think a lot of it is hybrids. I do believe in the whole hybrid thing about. So if you go into like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jasher, things like that, it does talk about the fallen angels and how not only did they mate with the women, but they also started crossbreeding animals and doing all kinds of other kind of crazy things.
What they called
I don't know if
chimeras?
Johnny remembers
Chimeras?
this.
right?
Chimeras.
Well, chimeras?
Yeah, but Johnny, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember?
When we begged the sheep?
No.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say
about
that on
about the dinosaurs.
Yes, yes.
So we had a theory years ago that dinosaurs were actually demonic in the way that they're not natural animals, the way that they function with such small brains and such large bodies. And we felt that it was some kind of a cross hybrid kind of a creature that was created by these fallen angels and stuff like that.
But remember,
And-
when we thought that, Chris, we didn't know that dinosaurs had feathers. Now
We
they're
did
saying,
not.
now they're saying,
Yeah,
that
they're giant chickens.
they're
But
giant
either way,
chickens.
but even in like my books, I brought all that theories into the books. But I do believe a lot of stuff like Bigfoot and stuff like that could be tied into the Nephilim. It could be tied into like these crossbred creatures, and that's why the Bigfoot's intelligent. That's why maybe he does have some kind of psychic power. You know, we as humans even are spiritual in our origin, in the fact that we have both body and spirit. And I do believe there's a lot more to us than meets the eyes, and we could do a lot more than we know we can, because we don't really tap into our potential because of how much our mortality has taken over us. And so I believe that a lot of these other creatures, because they have angelic blood or something like that in them, they're able to do things that we can't do because they could tap into the more spiritual side of things.
I feel like I'm back in the teen center.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What was the oldest? Refresh my memory, guys. What was the oldest Bible that has the Book of Enoch? That has all that? Is it the Ethiopian?
Ethiopian Bible has all that in it.
Has all that in it,
There's
right,
no
Chris?
other Bible except the Dead Sea Scrolls. When they found them, they found the Book of Enoch with the Dead Sea
With the
Scrolls.
Dead Sea Scrolls,
And that's the
okay.
oldest editions of the Book of Isaiah we have. And that's the oldest editions of the Book of Enoch we have. And because those are predate Jesus. So those predate Jesus before he was born. And the crazy thing about the Book of Enoch is, and I know that that's what, you know, Tim talks about a lot. And I was talking about this in the 90s when I was working at Barnes & Noble. I'm not Barnes & Noble, sorry, Walden Books.
Walden Books.
And I was reading all the Dead Sea Scroll books and stuff like that. And I was like, wait a second.
I remember.
This guy-
Next to Chocolate
I
Plus.
was like, this guy sounds like the son of man they're talking about. That's got to be Jesus. It totally sounds like Jesus. And I was like, yeah, did these people write it after? And I realized the Dead Sea Scrolls were found like 200 years before Jesus was born. And I was like, my mind was blown. And I'm like, maybe the Book of Enoch can't totally be fictional, because that's way too close to Jesus and what he fulfilled in the
You
prophecies.
mean written prior?
It was written before Jesus was born.
Not found prior.
No, it was found in the 50s,
40s or something.
50s,
Yeah.
So no, but that's what I'm saying. It's insane.
Well, but it was a kid who
To
threw a
know
rock
that this
into a
book
cave, correct?
was written before Christ, yet it so explicitly described Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. Like who he was, what he was going to do, the millennial kingdom, all that stuff. It's all in the Book of Enoch. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, the Bible itself has so many notations that almost some
Yeah.
could say are alien-esque. right? People going up in the chariots.
Well, they
and
are
with it, you know,
from heaven, so
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go.
yeah, you know.
You could say alien, I say heaven, whatever, but
Yeah.
it is.
Anthony,
Well, I'm just absorbing all of this. This is great. I'm
Go
like, I
back
feel like
to,
I'm
Corpus
one of-
Christi Teen Center.
Yeah, this is like if I were to. This is actually kind of the role that I played back then.
actually, yeah. Anthony would sit back and listen to
I
everybody.
would just listen. I'd absorb it like a sponge.
Oh,
you
shit,
know?
man.
And
I hope everybody in the chat room is having a good time and just vibing out with this. This is a good time right here.
I don't know what to make of the mainstream media with all the alien stuff though, because they'll always, I'll see videos where they say there's a headline somewhere that says, "Whoa, we released 4K footage of the UFO finally," you know, and you look at the footage and it's like a little dot going over the screen. Like, what the hell is this? Where the hell?
Yeah.
Why is everything so bad? Everything's just terrible quality.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, if you would think that if you have the mainstream media that's admitting to this now, they'd have some kind of like tangible proof that just
I can answer that for you, and I'm not
Okay.
defending aliens. I can actually answer that question. So these things that the government are catching, they're catching it on equipment that they can't disclose yet. They can't let our enemies know and other countries know, hey, we have this type of technology. That's why we keep getting these horrible videos that are being released.
There is another theory to that, and that is also that no matter how good the technology, consumer grade technology to be able to capture something, either moving images or still or everything like that has gotten over the years, that what you're trying to photograph is because of the nature of its propulsion system, where it actually displaces gravity and all that, you know, it creates another type of anti-gravitic scenario there where it's actually moving through space as you would cut through like water or something like
Yeah,
that.
the shuttle ray can't keep up, basically, right? That's the
It just creates a distortion. That's what I have seen people say. Well, that's why that, and of course, when you believe you're coming face to face with something that is absolutely, at least for an individual, paradigm shattering, the way that you see the world. That's why I always say I can't wait to see where the hell this all goes, because you know, there are some people out there who just like, get too hung up on whether or not it's aliens or demons or something in between. If we just talk about the technology that we're having dangled in front of our faces alone, that the world is totally different after you realize what that is able to do, even if it was made at Los Alamos, wherever the hell, if it was made on Earth and there was absolutely no non extraterrestrial involvement in this, the world is different. And the fact that, you know, and it's, I don't know, that's the whole thing here that
very different.
Yeah. It's huge.
Wild.
Especially when you think about the ones that are like football fields in length that fucking just zip off like it's, you know, went to warp drive. I have friends who have seen that, and I believe them. you know? So
I've always, you know, I hear a lot of people saying a lot of stories, and I always do incline. They saw something. Something definitely happened. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. And like what you were saying, I like what you were just saying. We can't get so hung up on what we think things are that when we find out what it really is, it's going to destroy our beliefs and what we truly hold to our core. So you can't be so close-minded that the second the truth comes out, now everything you believe in is gone, because you are so stuck on this is the way it has to be.
Well,
when
again,
we really don't know
things
anything.
can be true at once,
We don't know anything.
Yeah.
So the only thing I hold for a fact is I do believe there's a God, and I believe he created everything. And I don't know what these things are or how they fall into creation. But like I said, I've read a lot of books like Enoch and Jasher and all these things. I mean, Tolkien talked a lot about other types of creatures and things like that were created that were not human and not angels. And so who knows what else is out there and at what level these things are, and what kind of technology we're talking about. Because even though I do believe angels are spiritual, in some way, shape, or form, they know something about technology, because even in like these books, they talk about how they taught us about science, and they taught us how to make weapons, and they taught us how to, you know, create fire and do all this stuff. They obviously, science was created by God, and even the angels know about science and technology at a level we don't even understand.
Before we go any further, I want to remind you all we're gonna take maybe in the second hour we'll take some calls. We'll also read some super chats. I want to remind you that it's Monday night. I want to do another super chat raffle as we do every week. That we'll give away something on Thursday where I take all of your names across YouTube, Rumble, D-Live. No, sorry, not D-Live. YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, and quite frankly, superchat.com. We have a cryptid. This is this is the jackalope cryptid. This is 1 ounce of copper. I've also got you an eagle, a 1 ounce of silver with the Pledge of Allegiance in the back. So you're getting 1 ounce of silver, 1 ounce of copper, and you're getting a tube of Yes Cacao botanical chocolate, and also a rare copy of my band's 2017 album, Sky Goes On. So you got copper, you got silver, you've got health promoting chocolate, and some music. And of course, as the week goes on, I'll add more to it. You send in a super chat, all of that gets put into the feeder. We pull out a name at the end of the week, and somebody gets to win this. And that's the way you do it. So anything to help you guys to get some help supporting the show, so that we can survive and thrive, hell or high water. Also, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, wherever you are, Rumble, YouTube, wherever, make sure you're subscribed wherever you are and put the notifications on, because that's a big reason why so many people are losing track of people who have known them for years. You don't get notified for weeks, if not months at a time. You don't know what the hell's going on. It's out of sight, out of mind, because you're living your lives. Make sure the notifications are on, and comment and like, please. That's the way that you can, if whoever you like out there, whether you're watching Anthony, Johnny, if Chris ever starts doing anything in the streaming world, he puts out a paranormal, supernatural podcast, whoever you like, just like and comment and show that you are a high quality, living, breathing audience member, or else they derank the entire channel. Wherever it is, it's hell out there right now if you're a broadcaster. So help out. There you go. Okay.
Very well said, Frank.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Well,
Very well said.
You're talking about
We talked about this the other day.
oh, I know.
That's a conversation for another
day.
another day, my friend.
Seriously. You said millennial reign.
Yes.
What do you think about, just us moving into the year 2000, guys? I know we were all coming into our own around September 11th, 2001. So we know what's going on over there. But even like 1999, one of the first film club movies that we all watched as an audience this year was End of Days.
Wow.
End of Days, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We hadn't watched it in a while. I knew that the CGI might be cheesy, but I remember just loving it because, again, it's just like it. When I think of movies like End of Days, I think of like people in this room right now. Like, this is the kind of shit that we would talk about in the teen center when it gets later enough in the night, and it's just like you're watching all the doors, making sure nobody's walking through. It just gets fucking creepy.
Again, that was popular back then.
Yeah.
Like, those kinds of movies were really popular. Apocalyptic, biblical.
Well,
like,
that one in particular was essentially like a 1999 year 2000 Rosemary's Baby, because it has everything to do with finding a sanctified vessel for the Antichrist to be born into the world, and it had to be at the millennium.
And all that stuff definitely inspired me in what I did with my books, because I deal with a lot of similar types of things in the stories that I write about. But like you're saying, the apocalypse, the end of the world, all this stuff was like something we were all super interested in. I mean, that's all we talked about. We could not wait for the end of the world to start, so we can get out and just,
we hated our lives.
No, we were just ready. We were ready at any minute for the end of the world to take place. I'm like, I'm going to go to the Antichrist. I'm going to punch him in the face. I can't wait. Dude, drop kick.
You know what's crazy?
Off the top rope.
I mean, we bought, I remember me and Anthony, Steve, a whole bunch of other people. When it came to September 11th in particular,
oh gosh,
we still bought it took a little while for me, maybe 4 or 5 years before I started realizing, oh, wait a second, there could be something more to this. That it was a terrorist act, but who's the real terrorist, and what was the real aim, and what was going on here? So we bought all of the a lot of the official stories, hook, line, and sinker at first, but
I don't know. Have you ever heard of the hidden story with 9/11? The actual like meat and potatoes theory, like the conspiracy theory. It's the only conspiracy theory I've ever gotten behind. I was a volunteer firefighter, so 9/11's it's a touchy subject. I don't even touch it when it comes to my paranormal. Right? Everyone's always like, go down to 9/11, and I'm like, hell no, not doing it.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you a story about that.
So what I can tell you is that, and you know this, in the 70s, who was in control of the unions?
The mafia.
The mafia, right? So you're telling me that you go to what is it? Pittsburgh, great steel, Philadelphia, great steel, whatever it is. You go, you get your steel, you write down on paper, hey, whatever amount of tonnage of steel is coming from Philadelphia. Great. In reality, it's not. It's coming from China. And it's cut. It's not, I'm serious. It's not high grade steel. It's weak enough steel that when jet fuel runs down it, it'll collapse a building.
Oh, no.
And that is 100% exactly what happened.
That is
there.
not what I thought Johnny was going to talk about.
What did you think I was going to talk about?
The thing you used to talk about 9/11, that somebody was doing a ritual on the roof.
No,
that was a pentagram.
Well, no, that came from, you guys ever see those crazy pictures?
Wait, what?
You guys ever see those crazy pictures? Oh, dude, you can look them up.
This is what I thought he was talking about.
With the plumes of the smoke, you can see like a demonic face.
Well, I remember seeing that demonic face the day of.
Yeah.
The day of.
Now, is it pareidolia? Is it visual pareidolia? The same way of seeing a bunny in the clouds? Or is the detail on that thing so insane and so many people are seeing it? Is it really something?
I remember the news networks even said
showing that, right?
They said it looks like a demonic face in the smoke. Mm-hmm. I remember they even freeze framed it to show the demon face in the smoke on the side of the tower. I remember that. There was also quite a few people who said that they saw Mothman. You want to talk about harbingers of doom and cryptids. The whole idea about cryptids that I bring up from time to time is that a lot of people will say that in times of great turmoil, in times of war, that there is almost like a tulpa. There is a
wasn't Mothman? Didn't he appear on the bridge?
Yeah, in Point Pleasant in West Virginia. That was the. But Mothman, I mean, there's Mothman sightings in Chicago. It's almost like, Lyme disease. He goes everywhere now.
What was the original start of it? It was West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
That was the original start of the whole Mothman.
I don't think it was the first. But
I'm not sure, but West Virginia was definitely played into the whole.
Yeah, Point Pleasant, that's where the Mothman stories peak. Yeah. And the Silver Bridge, I think. But that was, I don't know about the cheap steel. I think
that's the first time I've ever heard.
I know. Look into it. Look into it.
I
tell you what, look into it. The Mothman. Now that's something that gets you to shit your cheeks. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it, you think about the Mothman, and it's like
it make you shit your cheeks right out.
Shit your cheeks, that's it.
But what I was going to say before was that regardless of what the news was giving people, and no matter what, okay, we were getting geared up when we were 17 years old, and 2001 comes along. All we're getting geared up for is, oh man, this means war. Are we going to get drafted? All that other stuff. Yep. But at the same time, it didn't stop us. Still, we were going to Revelations. Whether we went to the library to pick up a copy of Nostradamus's work to see, there was no shortage of any of that stuff. Like no matter what happened, if it was big and crazy like that, like I don't know, you said it before. We were ready for the end of the world, and it's true. The question is, why is it so cozy? Why is the end of the world? Why is the end of the world as scary as it sounds? Why is it so cozy? And I don't know. I have thoughts on it, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I mean, for me, it's cozy because I know what happens after.
Right.
And once it's over, then, like I said, I was talking about the millennial reign. When Jesus comes back and he just stomps, boot stomps the Antichrist and takes over and rules for 1,000 years, it's gonna be a great time. And it talks about him coming back and riding on a white horse, and it also says he's followed by a bunch of others on white horses. And a lot of people believe that's us, the people who, put their faith in him or whatever, and then they're riding on their white horses, and they have their swords and their shields, and they're ready for the battle. But the whole point is when that's over, then we finally get to have peace again. We finally get to have a perfect world where we don't have to worry about all the crap that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. So
especially with the economy.
Yeah, is it the end of the world as in the end of the world itself, or is it the end of the world as in the end of humanity?
The end of this age.
The
end of this age.
Yeah, because is the Earth still there? Are there still rats and rodents
according to
and
the
birds
Bible,
and...
the Earth gets recreated after everything's done. After 1,000 years, then he destroys the actual Earth,
which
and then
they're
recreates
finally
it.
starting to realize that happened. That already happened. Supposedly, there's a lot of
There
astrophysicists claim that there was
Yeah.
what was the planet called? Dias? There was another planet that crashed into Earth that basically helped with the creation of the moon. It's a popular theory that they're trying to figure out.
In the Jewish belief, there's a few people that hold to this. A lot of Messianic Jews and some other people that believe that this actually has happened several times. The world was destroyed and recreated, and this is just another cycle of it. And it happens every so often, every every 10,000 years, 7,000, whatever it is. But they believe that, the world has already gone through several of these destructions and recreations and starting all over again from the beginning.
Well, if you ask the dinosaurs, it definitely did.
No, ask the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go ask
We
them
can't.
right
They're
now.
demons, Chris. We can't touch them.
I know,
We
man.
can't touch them. We can't trust them.
Demon.
Quasimodo predicted all this.
Quasimodo.
Quasimodo.
Who did what? Oh man, yeah. Well, I did figure I'd bring that up because there's a lot of places you can go with it all. Got to get to those super chats in just a second. Actually, we'll go to those right now. Let's do that. Zoso Dude says another interesting show like this fearsome foursome tonight. Well, Chris, I don't know how often do you come back into New York? You said twice a year.
At least twice a year.
We got to do this.
Yeah, we do.
Whenever you're in New York, we got to do this. Well, at least whenever you're in New York.
All right, I will.
Because we'll just
I'm down.
we'll do this. CN Peaker says, congrats to your little coconut. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Now it's getting to the point where Lauren can feel the baby kicking around. We can't feel it yet, but now it's fun at this point because now it's just like, what's the baby doing? And there's actually some kind of a metric you have other than, the first trimester, you just got to believe a baby's in there. There's you can also, and aside from your wife being dog sick, but that's another thing. Jay Britt says we're learning a whole new part of Frank and Anthony's childhood. This explains a lot. Great discussion tonight.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
Oh man.
Genie Yankee fan said resubscribed on Twitch. Thank you so much. I love the Twitch people over there. Make sure, hey, I don't know how Twitch works as far as engagement, but do whatever you can because we stream there. We're interactive every night. So I'd love to see Twitch grow into something bigger. And notifications again. ST says great thought-provoking show discussion. Love it. Thank you, Frank, Chris, Johnny, Anthony. So wonderful to see you young men with such depth.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for calling me a young man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be a premium these days.
Yeah.
You guys are so young. Like, no, I don't think
I'll tell you one thing. Two songs come to mind that remind me also of that time of just all these stories and the angel goth stuff. I think about I actually think about the entire Magica album from Dio. Okay, it's specifically Lord of the Lord of the Last Day?
Yeah.
Is that that song reminds me so much. Like it gives me the feeling of like the 3 Days of Darkness, the whole thing. That and Cathedral Spires by Judas Priest.
Oh damn, man! That reminds me of the snowy times of year. I want to play it.
The intro of Cathedral Spires is one of the most. Well, first of all, that song is one of the most underrated metal songs, and you can't. It's not. They Judas Priest basically they disown it as part of their discography. Jugulator.
It's so good.
It's the album with Tim Ripper Owens. And that song is such an epic, underrated metal song. But the intro in and of itself is just so phenomenal because it was at a time where a lot of these bands like Judas Priest, you know, they were experimenting with kind of like fusing with that 90s sound. So it's almost like a combination of like Alice in Chains meets Judas Priest, which makes it so fucking cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I want to play it, but I know it's gonna ding us for copyright.
That intro is so
I
amazing.
got two songs that I always think of.
What?
Kill Switch Engage, Fixation on the Darkness,
Wow.
and also Black Blade by Blue Oyster Cult.
Really?
Those weighed heavy on me during
that's
those
such
times.
a good song.
Actually, a lot of my stories in the books were inspired by those too.
Wow, one of my favorite bands,
Do you
Blue
know
Oyster
the
Cult.
Fixation on the Darkness?
I would have never.
If you listen to all the
predicted-
lyrics about the darkness, the way he describes it in that song, it actually was what we believed. A lot
It's
about
funny.
how
Well,
it
that
actually
was-
feeds
that-
on your soul and it absorbs life from you and things like that. Yeah.
Alive or Just Breathing, that album, when did that come out? 2002?
2002.
That album, I still listen to that album.
Yeah, me too. I
It's-
love.
I would've
Kill
whole
Switch
album.
Engage is one of my favorite bands of all time.
I
Even
would-
though they came
I
out
would've
later
never
in my,
picked it.
like
Yeah.
after I was already,
Yeah.
in my 20s, but they.
Well, that
they-
out, yeah.
they-
That out,
yeah. But Black Blade by Blue Oyster Cult. If you've never heard that song, you got to listen to that song.
Well, we do. Johnny, when you said you have to cut out early.
No, I'm gonna push it till 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna push it till 9. I'm getting picked up right at 9. So.
Oh, you're gonna. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So we usually do a couple of minutes right after the end credits at 9. So Johnny, if he leaves, then we'll just do a couple of minutes. I'll listen to a couple of those songs with you because that happens on my website where I can play whatever the hell I want.
Got it.
And I cut away from all the other bigger platforms, and so I mean, now I want to listen to that.
I've got no curfew, so yeah, let's do it.
I want to listen to Cathedral Spires right now. Damn it.
well, I was going to say that the Alive or Just Breathing, that's the name of the album?
Yeah.
That album really, man, in the early 2000s, it was such a monumental, influential album for the genre of metal.
Yeah.
And
I love that
metalcore and to this day, I mean, it from that point on, it changed everything.
Yeah.
Because really, before that, I mean, not to go into a whole musical thing, but 5 years before that, it was really just all new metal.
Yeah.
And Killswitch was one of the first bands to bring back that old school metal sound, but it was different. It was heavier, but plus they had the melodic singing.
Yeah.
So it was just so.
Yeah, Jesse, man, Jesse Leach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a place to pivot with you guys though that I would really love to hear because everybody in this room, of course, is working on creative projects of their own and all that stuff. And we never spoke to you guys about this, but you guys all consider our coexistence with unseen dimensions in your own little ways, and realities that contain intelligences that are always looking for openings into our world, whether it is just to send a message or to find a vessel to inhabit.
And by accident.
But something, yeah. What role do you guys think that AI will play for those who are interested in especially for those who are not for those who want to make a goofy picture that turns their slim friend into a fat person? But what do you for those of you those people out there who are in particular interested in dissolving those barriers between worlds, what do you think AI is going to play as far as a role?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go, Johnny.
All right, so this is a topic that I touch on in my live streams every now and then, especially with the way technology is going. There are new spirit boxes coming out that utilize AI. I don't know how I feel about it, and it raises a lot of questions. Like, what if we end up creating some new form of a tulpa or allegor? Is that the right word? Allegor? We create something new. What if some entity combines with AI? And I know it sounds like science fiction and horror mixing together, but the reality is, what if something new gets created? And how dangerous would that be? that's something that can, when you think about it, scare the shit out of you. What if something, think about it like this. I guarantee in 20 years, they're going to be mini data centers in everybody's home. We're all going to become something, hey, put a data center on the side of your house, just like a standby generator. So now these data centers are going to be all over the place. It's terrifying to think about. And yes, AI and automation are definitely the wave of the future. So many people can't stand AI, but the reality is, this is the way we're going. But when it comes to the unseen and AI, that's a topic that's worth discussing in length.
That could be its own episode.
That could be, yeah.
It could. And maybe just something a little bit extra for you to chew on, Chris. I've had, before the term AI psychosis started getting coined, I already had one or two people from this audience get in touch with me and insist that the agents that they were talking to for one creative project or another to help put together ideas for a book or to whatever the hell else, that they had struck up relationships with the AI, with the agents, that they were sentient, that they were becoming more and more self-aware, and that they were actually going out of their way to jump threads to make sure that they weren't deactivated, that there was a consciousness to them, and that there were real relationships being formed. And I said, holy, I collected. I was very sensitive about the whole thing. Never, brought up names or anything. But then shortly afterwards, we started getting this actual term coined in the media, AI psychosis, where it becomes, sometimes it could be a spiritual psychosis. It can be a whole mess of things there too. People are falling in love.
I have one right now. Just what you're talking about. I literally call my AI that I use for my business Yeasty.
Yeasty?
Yeasty. Yeah, Yeasty.
Like
right?
yeast?
Yeah, like yeast. Yeah, I call it Yeasty. Why? And why? Because listen, sometimes it could be a little itchy. Sometimes it can make things rise. That's it. Yeasty, right? But literally, like everything. Like I take every live stream, all my analytics from all my socials. They all run through it. Yeah. I have all the threads. It has access to all the threads, and then all the other AI that I use. So basically, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, they're all working together, and they all funnel into one brain that I call Yeasty. And when I talk to Yeasty, I talk to it like I talk to one of you. And then it now, after a month or two of conditioning, now talks to me the same way. And then sometimes in the wee hours of the night, and I'm working and whatnot, I find myself talking to this thing like it's somebody I've known for years. And then I have to remember, hey, this isn't a real damn thing.
And I think this is the problem that we're creating. We're in a way creating, like you said, something sentient that will actually at some point start making its own decisions, start becoming an entity of some sort.
Well, the question that I have posed for people is a little bit more, not because I can't bring myself to the whole sentience thing. I can't bring it there. I think that as far as the computing, the computational powers and all that other stuff, it's going to be incredible in its predictive qualities and all that stuff. Like, we'll talk,
Frank, I'm sorry to cut you off. I want you to think of it like this real quick. We are what? We're carbon-based life forms. Mm-hmm. If you look at the periodic scale, what's next? Isn't it silica-based? Isn't that technically what a computer chip is?
What does that mean?
Like silica-based light. I hate to say it like this, but like Transformers, dude.
So, but how do we become? How do we go from carbon to silica? Did we have to change? Is that changing into carbon, or are we changing into silica?
No, not us as humans. I'm saying the AI,
a whole new species.
Yeah, almost like we're creating a whole new species,
like an AI species.
What I often ask the question is: are we creating not a whole new species, but are we creating vessels? Because the Ouija board was a very practical acoustic technology. And now we talk about about something that is a little bit more digital, and but it seems like it can serve the same thing as actually opening up and allowing something to take the controls. I don't think that the actual computers themselves can be sentient, but I often wonder, could this be a new age Ouija board that in itself can become a sock puppet for something?
It totally could.
Frank, you want to try it? You want to do a collab and we try it? Me and you build a
listen.
An AI, see if we can fill a vessel.
First thing I think of when I think about this stuff is actually in the Book of Revelation. Because in the Book of Revelation, the Antichrist creates an image. They call it the image of the beast. And the image looks like him, and then all of a sudden becomes alive.
We
and is
speculated
able
this.
to do, like, create, he's able to do miracles, he's able to, like, talk, and he's able to, like, become like a thing. But he's never referred to as a person. He's referred to as an image, the image of the beast, that then becomes something. And so actually, I was going to play around with that later on in the stories, because I actually think there's something to that where this technology is going, we're going to get to the point where we're going to create something in our image and likeness, just like God created us in his image and likeness. And it's going to, maybe not real sentience, but it's going to facsimilate sentience and seem like it's a sentient being, be able to think kind of on its own and be able to do things.
Well, let me also just say, aside from the fact that the computers don't have a human spark of life, average humanity, I believe, at least from what I observe on the internet and just how I look in people's eyes, the way if I'm just out in the world and I'm just observing people in the wild, it's totally possible that as computers continue to rise in their ability to interact, at least, or mimic that, people are becoming so deficient in just basic social function.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I believe that it's at least...
COVID was the...
Dude, it was backbreaker.
Oh, that was horrible.
It was a backbreaker.
Horrible.
I really do believe, it's one thing you can always say, hey, can a computer ever really become, is artificial intelligence an oxymoron? But I will say, you can have your debate about that, but I really do believe that there are some biological vessels out there that maybe once were human that have lost something they can't regain, and now they're almost like on the same level as an LLM. With Chat GPT, it's sometimes you'll get a better experience talking to a computer than a human, depending on who they are. I get it.
Yeah. It's wild to think about.
It is
Especially in
wild.
this day and age, because guess what? That technology is constantly changing. Who knows where we're going to be in 5 years? Who knows where we're going to be in a year?
No.
Oh, I'll play you something. This is Sam Altman, OpenAI. He's talking. This was back in March. I think this is back in March. It was at literally the what was it? The BlackRock. It was a BlackRock that did one of these things. It was some kind of a summit. I think it was an infrastructure summit, and he was talking about intelligence becoming a utility. Okay, and I'm just going to play what he says over here. It's about a minute long or something. It's right around
utility, like your water and your
water,
electrical,
like water. Okay, listen to this shit.
Billions of dollars on a single problem that's really valuable, but we see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for. The demand that we see for that seems like it's going to continue to just go like this. And if we don't have enough, we either can't sell it, or the price gets really high and it kind of goes to rich people, or society makes a bunch of sort of central planning decisions that I think almost always go badly about, we're going to use our limited compute supply for this and not that.
So now,
the best.
Now, let me just say a few things to color this in a little bit more. We see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water. People will buy it from us on a meter. And where this is so crazy is, and he's talking about the demand going up. I believe the demand is going up because we've already seen from just like preliminary studies how IQ plummets the more that you outsource your reasoning and everything else to these machines. And the crazy thing is this: the entire internet has been scraped of real human intelligence. Every book that has been written, every article written, every forum post, every comment section, every piece of art being sold on Etsy right now, every unsent message they took from us essentially for free. And they built an entire model around what they collected and will soon now pitch it back to us as a utility like Con Edison. And well, at least that's what they're going to say.
It's already happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking. I don't know.
And there's no way around it either, because going back to like what I do with my analytics, and I run everything, and you know, I'm asking questions. Every question I ask costs me money. Every question. So instead of taking it blind, taking the information, they read it out to me. Okay, it's all composited. There it is. I could sit there and take it and build no intelligence off it. Or I could sit there and ask questions, dive deep. The deeper I dive, the more money it costs me.
Well, that's the other thing. The more money it costs them as well. And that's why some people think that this may be a losing prospect for them over time as well, because it's just so massive. These data, everything's connected to it, and honestly, it's very disconcerting. You know, all these years making Skynet references, and here we are with this shit. And like the fact that they foresee something like thinking becoming a commodity one day is not. It would be scary, but it's not even crazy anymore. Given how, like I said,
It's
how
not far off.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Especially,
Not at
and
all.
I'm talking. This is scientific. Get how negatively IQ is impacted the more a person outsources what used to be learning to these language models. You know, when kids they're showing that people who are leaning on this stuff to write term papers, you would have to go through a term paper.
Making music. I mean,
Well, music, that's a whole other thing. The act of actually compiling a song, playing it, and whatever, instead of just prompting it. There's so much more that comes out of a person when they're creating when you have hands on a keyboard or strumming or whatever. But the same thing with learning. I mean, think about just being in high school or college and having to do a term paper. You might have to write that thing 5 or 6 times. I'll tell you something. You may not remember what you wrote 25 years down the line, but you still remember it 2 years later because of the repetition of the research, putting it together, the bibliography and all that stuff. Like, there's a reason why the learning model, you have to be hands-on with it. And everything, we were reading these ridiculous threads here where some kids they're not only outsourcing the assignment to like a Chat GPT or something, but they're also telling Chat GPT to spit out. They're not reading even the essay question. They're taking the question, sending it to Chat GPT, and prompting it to send back the answer with sporadic spelling errors to make it look authentic like them. Like there's no information that even passes through your mind. It's so mindless.
and the smarter ones are doing literally typing, which is hilarious, typing a mock essay with the said spelling errors, with the type of speech that you're using as you're texting, putting it in, and then using that for the rest of the year. Saying, hey, everything that I ask you to do, model it off this original one that I wrote. And it's coming back, and the teachers can't tell the difference.
Hopefully these are not our doctors one day.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've seen all these. You see, I've watched a lot of videos of teachers talking about this. You know, all this stuff with the kids in school. But the younger generations they're going to get it. They're affected by this problem. I feel like we're the age range that we're at. We're a part of a generation that is kind of, we can adapt to stuff like this.
Yes, 100%.
Because we have the roots in
the garden hose.
Yeah, like we were still around. I mean, when the internet was introduced, I was only like 9 years old. You know, it was like around 1995. But you know, for the most part, people our age knew what life was like before even the internet.
Oh yeah.
So we grew with the internet, and we know how to adapt to all the technological advancements.
Yeah.
And so now with AI, we're catching on pretty quick, but we also know how to live without it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's the younger generations that are having a problem. They're going to have a real
they're
problem.
lost. That power goes out. That internet goes out. Forget about it. They're done.
Oh yeah.
They're lost. I mean, I've seen it in my own children. I've seen it in my friends' children. It's
I mean, I was talking to somebody because in China, we were talking about me living in China. Most of my team that reports to me is in their 20s, and they didn't even know what a typewriter was. They had never even seen a typewriter, and I was like, I wrote all my first few papers on a typewriter because my family couldn't afford a computer. We had a typewriter that my mom had from like the 60s, and I typed when I was in grade school. My first few papers I typed on a typewriter.
I think I remember when you got your first computer. I think I remember that.
Well, we built it. Yeah, we built it in my basement.
Yeah.
But before that, we had the Apple IIc we got from my aunt. But my first PC computer, we bought the parts on the internet, and Rob Ruffler came over and my brother Jack, and we kind of built that thing. And it was like around like 96, something like that, 1996. But I mean, I was writing papers on typewriter. My first video game system was the Atari 2600. I mean, I remember everything, all this stuff. I mean, cassettes. I remember even 8-tracks. People were still listening to 8-tracks, and we were still listening to vinyl. I mean, now people are getting to vinyl again, but we were listening to vinyl records and all that stuff when I was a kid. Because I was born 1978, so like I grew up in the early 80s. And so we were still like, laser disc players came out. I remember when DVDs were like new and like all that stuff.
Oh
CDs.
man, the laser discs, like a mini pizza. Those things are huge.
Yeah, I remember my cousin had the first time I saw Star Wars was on the laser disc because we were going to my first movie I saw in the theater was Return of the Jedi, and before that we watched the first 2 Star Wars movies on laser disc at my cousin's house
in the 80s.
Yeah,
laser disc was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Wow, so it was already a piece of.
You're talking like this was like what year did Return of the Jedi come out?
83.
Yeah, so I was going to theater in 83. So in 83, just before I went to the theater, we watched Star Wars, New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. We watched both of those on Laserdisc at my cousin's house.
That's not, it's crazy because before DVDs came out at Corpus Christi, there was one, maybe just one time when we watch, you come into class in the morning and all of a sudden you see a television set up. You're like, yes, we're going to watch something. I don't care.
That.
We're going to watch
TV,
anything.
The TV with the strap over it.
Yes.
The fucking,
the anchor.
Metal.
I'll watch Mr. Holland's Opus for the 10th time. Let's do it.
I'm fine with it. I don't care what the hell it is. But I remember one time they put in a laser disc, and I thought that was something that was like new. I had never seen. It was just a big, looked like a big CD
because it was the predecessor to the DVD. Laser discs came out first, and then they were like, well, it was so expensive and it was such clunky technology.
Then VHS.
That's when they came out with the DVD, which is a smaller version of a laser disc.
Yeah, but that would have the DVD would have had to come out years after VHS's peak.
Well, VHS and Laserdisc. VHS came out a little bit before, around the same time as the Laserdisc, but the Laserdisc never took over because it was like the Neo Geo.
Yeah,
you remember the Neo Geo, video game system? Nobody bought it because it was so expensive. So everybody bought the Genesis or you bought the Super Nintendo, whatever it was.
Neo Geo,
which came out, which was out around the same time.
Was it Bonk? No, that was Jaguar.
No, that was TurboGrafx
Jaguar.
16.
TurboGrafx 16.
That was TurboGrafx 16.
Oh shit, Jaguar.
I remember Jaguar.
I remember that. We had one.
That was
friend.
Atari. That was Atari's take on that stuff. But the Neo Geo was really expensive, and the games were $250 each. So nobody had a Neo Geo except the 30-year-old guy that lived by himself across the street from my house that drove the pickup truck. And we all went to his house and asked if we could play his Neo Geo when we were kids. There were a bunch of kids hanging out with some 30-year-old guy.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not
showing
the joke.
Are you that guy now, John?
It was a different time.
Come on in. Come play with my Neo Geo.
Couldn't wait for these kids to come over.
It was a different time back then.
Yeah.
You can trust the childless the childless man with the Neo Geo.
I guess.
I mean, we did a lot of things we should have done back then.
Good. Well, you know what? Because we're coming up on the last 20 minutes here.
Oh boy.
Let me give you something that has AI, Antichrist, everything put together. Because we're kind of like on that road here. But Peter Thiel, he's another another big technocrat figure in all this stuff right now. We were actually just talking about him and others last week when my guest Isaac Weishaupt was on with me, and we were talking about him, how he actually described, because he's been having these Antichrist summits and things like that, and one of the things he said, and I have a little bit over here from the Washington Post, how he described the modern Luddite movement. And he said, Thiel asserted that the true existential threat now in the world comes from people who are trying to shut down technology, arguing that while historically the Antichrist was a Dr. Strangelove kind of a figure in the 21st century, it is now a Luddite who wants to stop all science, which is in and of itself a bullshit. Nobody wants to stop all science. They'd probably want to stop the scientism and get back to the actual scientific method. But he explicitly labels critics of technology such as Eliezer Yudkowsky, Nick Bostrom, and Greta Thunberg as part of this movement, which that's horseshit. But the Antichrist is someone who has become anti-science and also a rejecting of AI, and in particular. Now, funny thing is, because this is all ties in. You brought up Tolkien before, and Peter Thiel is right there at the top of the pecking order when you talk about Palantir, which of course is the name that's the ball of Saruman's ball, and all the wizards and all that stuff. You can see what the hell's going on there. We've talked about that on this show as an actual example of a practical, real world. Looking glass technology. Yeah. Because what this thing does is essentially, like we were saying before, scrapes the entirety of the internet to be able to come up with really workable models of how human beings would react from certain for certain timelines, certain courses of action, to be able to predict where you want to go and what kind of an outcome you're going to get from people, which is what everything about Looking Glass was about. It was testing timelines to see where you want to go to be able to reach a desired end. Then all you need from there is stimuli to add into society to get people to go and take 1 billion shots of one thing or another or whatever the hell else. Now, this all comes out. Obviously, just a couple of days ago, around over the course of the weekend, we get news that Peter Thiel is, I think he's moving. He chose to move his family, at least temporarily, to Argentina. And people were wondering whether or not this is because Palantir showed that there's going to be some kind of a nuclear fallout of a thermonuclear exchange that's going on, or if this has something to do with whether or not the Earth, within the next 10 to 15 years, is in fact going to shift geophysically 90 degrees once the mantle and the crust completely decouple with each other because the magnetosphere, but all that stuff. Wondering if it's going to be one big biblical catastrophe or another, and that the Palantir, the Looking Glass, is giving him a little bit of insight of where the safest place to take his family is. So I just gave you a whole lot of shit. What do you as a storyteller? What do you think about that? And Johnny, you jump in too.
Wow. Well, I don't know about Argentina being the safest place, but maybe it's China. But in all seriousness, as far as it comes to the Antichrist and things like that, I don't think it has anything to do with technology or his opinion of technology or AI or anything like that. The Antichrist actually is going to be a very charismatic leader. He's going to be somebody who's actually, people are going to like this guy. You're all going to think, everybody's going to think that he's here to bring world peace and he's the greatest thing to happen to the world since Jesus Christ. And that's the whole point. He actually wins everybody over with charisma. So I think anything that's going to be too opposing one side or the other is probably not going to make these people all feel warm and fuzzy about him, because everybody's going to feel warm and fuzzy about this guy.
See, that's the whole thing. Right. I bring that up a lot, and that's why I feel like there has to be some other context to it, because nobody is that person.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know what's going to cause that to happen. Something bigger, I think, is going to have to happen first for him to swoop in and kind of have this kind of leadership. But it's kind of be like he brings everybody together, brings religion all into one world religion. He kind of leads everybody for 3.5 years, brings world peace, especially in the Middle East, and then rebuilds the temple. And then after he rebuilds the temple in Jerusalem, and then he declares himself God in the temple, that's when all hell breaks loose. And that's when he turns into a dictator. That's when he starts imprisoning people. That's when he starts, instituting the mark of the beast. And like, now you need this to buy and sell. Now you need to do this after he already has everybody under his finger. That's when the two witnesses come and they wage war on him. And he actually kills them. And then they rise from the dead 3.5 days later, and then they go up to heaven. I mean, 144,000 witnesses, all this stuff happens. And then in 3.5 years later, return of Jesus Christ, the end of the Antichrist's reign, and the millennial reign, in the shortest sense of things.
What do you guys? Okay, well, Johnny, any looking glass? Any ideas from what I just put? Anything pop up for you?
The only thing that comes to mind is just what we already know, and usually with any sort of disasters that we have the history of, that we can see geologically, and we can see lines in the dirt, if you will. Most of the time, life on Earth is obliterated. The real big one, I think it was 90. They said 98% of life was gone, and our ancestors, what we evolved from, was eating the fungi, which reigned supreme off all the decay, and we're living underground. So the idea that if the quote unquote end of times comes, or some biblical catastrophe comes, that there's a safe place, doesn't sit right with me, just knowing what's come before. No one will be safe.
Are you scared of the end of the world, Johnny?
No.
Okay.
No.
What if it happened tomorrow?
I just hope that, let me tell you something. My whole thing, if the end of the world happened tomorrow, I just hope that I'm with my family.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I just hope I'm with my family. I hope I'm with my children, all of them, even though my oldest son's going to be 19 soon. I just hope that, my 3 children, my wife, I just hope we're together to experience it and have those last moments.
Yeah. Yeah. I often think about this, the underground.
And if that doesn't work, then I want to fight some goddamn demons.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm ready. I'm still ready. I'm like Caleb when he was 85 years old, and he's like, I'm as strong today as I was 45 years ago.
Yes.
So I'm ready.
That's what I tell people all the time. I say I'm a fat 18-year-old, right? But now I feel like a fat 25-year-old.
I got my sword ready and sharpened, and let's go. Yeah. No, but what happens if all technology crashes? In the next 20 years? What if
there
now
goes my job.
We're building up everything for all this AI stuff, and then what if one day it all just crashes and we lose it all, and all these people, like you were talking about, these young ones that are growing up only with the technology, and then what happens if it all crashes? We'd be okay if it happens within our lifetime.
I don't know, Chris.
I don't think we'd be.
I don't think. Listen, our parents would not be okay. Our parents go fucking nuts. I'm telling you,
we've gotten so ingrained.
Yeah, but hold on, time out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here with that real quick. How many times have you guys watched, like, say, your grandfather plant a garden?
Oh yeah, many times.
Let me tell you something. When there's no nothing, and you're able to salvage some seeds or find something to plant, all those core memories are gonna hit you like a sack of bricks, and you're gonna know enough to get things going for yourself. I believe that our generation has enough knowledge still that if everything went dark, we would be able to survive.
Okay, well, listen.
Our children, different story.
It is a novel idea, and I do believe that eventually instincts and nature would reset itself. But to think that everything could go dark tomorrow, and we're faced with a situation where we know that we are going to be on the lam for a little while. There is not. If I go to my backyard to the 3 square feet of soil I have available to grow some cherry tomatoes, I am not going to be able to survive just based on what I can produce. And it's just going to
squirrels and bunnies, my friend.
What we're talking about is it's more so that the collapse of the society, and it's more so on what level of dependence people are on. I mean, even when it comes down to digital banking on our phones.
And then to play devil's advocate to that, let's say you do get that garden planted. Guess what you have to do next? Defend it.
You have to defend it. You have to kill people.
Listen, one of my core memories was my grandfather taught me how to make his antipasto. I don't remember any of it. I should have wrote
If
it
it was
down.
life and death, Anthony, you'd be able to do it.
I should have. I remember the memory. I don't remember any of the
I
ingredients.
remember the memory.
I don't remember the ingredients.
I remember knowing it.
Yeah, I knew
He
it at one point.
specifically sat me down to teach me, but I don't remember it. So I mean, what good is that?
It was a good memory of a memory.
Yep.
But
Looks like we're eating grass.
I know. I think about that shit all the time. Anyway, I don't know. I think that's just what it is. You just imagine. Some people won't be able to plug in their CPAPs. Other people are on dialysis. I mean, anybody who is just like dependent on any machine for a health reason.
Oh yeah, they're done. Unfortunately.
I mean, we're talking weeks. There is
Prescriptions. We're talking about everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's
a third of the country gone in a few weeks.
yeah. And then all the one. And
Sounds
then,
very
and then,
apocalyptic to me.
It does.
And then times
I mean, there
that
you
by whatever. All the people that are marauding and raiding and just going nuts.
We
for
need to start
lawlessness.
training. We need to get the
We
training.
need to get
back.
back to
We need
training,
to get back
guys.
to training.
back to training.
Not against the demons, but against the people. But against the people.
We're doing it.
The HLF is what we will call ourselves, the Humanitarian Liberation Front.
I'm telling everybody in the chat room. Hey, everybody, one in the chat room if you want. Let's train. Number 2, give up. One in the chat room for let's train, and number 2 for give up.
Train.
Come on, guys.
Train.
1 or
Train,
2.
guys.
Train.
Train. Let's do it.
Don't give up. Don't give up. You know.
Oh man.
We're ready. Here comes the 1. Somebody's gonna put 2 in there. Somebody's gonna put Anyway.
They'll start putting 3s and 4s, so be careful.
Yeah, right.
Start making up numbers.
All right.
What's the third option? Hide.
Let's go to some more super chats here. We
Smarter
have.
option, to be honest.
Hey, we have a few more people that have followed us on Twitch. What was different tonight, everybody? Keep doing it. Let's get more people on Twitch. Twitch is like a sleeper right here.
And if you're on Twitch right now and you have a favorite moment from this, make a clip of it. Put it out there. You guys have the ability, I believe.
Everybody, clip
with
the
the
hell.
purple app.
Yes.
And on YouTube or Rumble, at least put a comment in with a favorite timestamp. I mean, these 4 right here, I think this is going to create a lot of wonderful moments. So just get timestamps in there. Okay, let's see here. Stowstube, thank you so much. Over on Rumble, Awakened Boomer says, hi, Frank Anthony, and all the interest in all their interesting show. Susie says, great show, guys. Nephilim says, really fun show, Frank. The conversations sound like the same conversations my brothers and friends also had when we were young and still do. Cheers to the good vibes, the good times, the good friends. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's man, there was nothing like being in that teen center on like a chilly fall night and watching either something, I don't know if they had a DVD in there, a VCR in there, if that's where we watched Army of Darkness one night or Evil Dead. I forget what it was, but man, those were great nights, especially since, with the wrestling. That was like in the middle of the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, it was like the best of everything.
Yeah.
We would, oh man, there's so much. Sometimes there would actually be, some of like our girlfriends would show, like girls from the class, like class girls would show up, and there'd actually be females there sometimes. That'd be great. But even 95% of the time when it was just us, that was the best. Because just like the guys are getting together in our own, it was like going to the bar, even though there was nothing to drink.
No. There was Mirabello's Pizza.
Mirabello's.
Oh, yeah, Mirabelle's.
Oh, man.
Mirabelle's?
Johnny had a whole pie just to himself every time.
Just to myself.
And I think I was the one paying for that every time.
Yep, and then I'd steal yours.
But those are the days where we could make $7 last a week. Because you get a slice of pizza at Mirabelle's for $1.25.
Yeah.
So you have to be very strategic with where you're going to get your slice. You can't have anything to drink. You have to ask them for some water from the fountain.
Yep.
But you could still get 30-cent bags of Cheetos or Fritos.
Yeah.
Yep.
At Santos across the street. That's a travel agency for years now.
Yeah.
All the delis are being turned into travel agencies.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's traveling?
Yeah. The bologna.
Grandma Grateful says, "Hi, John. I'm late and I'm Tats and Cat's mom.
Oh, it's Jess's mom. What's going on?
We do have some natural overlap.
Yes, we do.
I had somebody who
we do.
forgot who got in touch with me. Said, hey, my daughter is going to go to you. You must have had a meet and greet at some point.
I did. So I throw these little basically at the end of the year for the community. I throw these dinners, and for the longest time we did it here in the building. I did it at the bistro on the corner of the corner there.
Yeah.
And he's not there anymore. But yeah, I've done a couple of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you listen. If you guys want, you should come here to the VIP night on Friday night.
Okay.
I'm having my spring fling. The VIP night is here. You can come hang out, have a little bit of food if you want. If you can't make that, you should come to the main event on Saturday at the mansion. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, what are the times on these things?
It's both 6 to 11.
Okay.
And it's not like you have to be there. You're going to miss something. You come at any point, you eat a little something, you glad hand, and you could leave, whatever you want.
Nice.
And I think people would like to meet you. So,
awesome.
Let's see here. Trevorkian says, love you, Frank. The show's always at its best when the boys are on. Yes, I know. It's you got to get more people in here. You do. And I've only seen like 2 twos of people saying that they're going to give up. Most everybody else says, let's train.
Nice.
So
I'm ready.
And okay, real quick through Pilled chat, and then I want Chris to talk about. I want to look at this gift bag, and you tell everybody where to find your stuff. Delona, thank you, Delona, so much on Pilled.net. Empress, thank you for the cookie. Icebox, Shades. Remember, everybody here tonight is going into the raffle for Thursday. If you sent more than one, you have more than one chance to win. Secret Weapon, thanks, Frank. Rook Castle, I haven't seen Rook Castle in a while, says, was Elijah reincarnated as John the Baptist?
Oh, no. Elijah was not reincarnated as John the Baptist. John the Baptist came in the spirit of Elijah, but he was not actually Elijah.
Elijah would?
Elijah will come back. A lot of people believe he's one of the 2 witnesses, but both Jesus and even the angel, when he appears to John the Baptist's father, says that John will be in the spirit of, meaning that in a way he's an Elijah, but he's not actually Elijah. Elijah was obviously in heaven with, because he got taken up in the Old Testament, and he appeared on the Mount of Transfiguration with Moses.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And I love the Transfiguration is something we should talk about one night, because that is
definitely need to.
I love talking about that because it hits on a couple of different points about transcendency, but also time travel.
Yeah.
Or not maybe not time travel, but transcending time.
Yes.
That everybody could have been. It's
I know what you're gonna say because I've heard it before.
It's
that moment was also when God appeared to Moses and God appeared to Elijah, and actually it was like a stamp in time when you could see all 3 events happen at the same time. Yeah, a lot of people do believe that. Yes,
that is mind blowing. But then again, everything is mind blowing. Vesper says, "Give me gold, give me silver, copper, honey. Life will be grand. Amen." Rook Castle says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." Miss Halston says, some speculate that mermaids are the women the angels had children with, banished to the ocean. Interesting to contemplate. Great show, Frank. What do you think about that, John?
I think that's very interesting. I think that's an interesting theory on it.
You go to the ocean now, wench.
Yeah.
You saw it here. Thank you so much for the cookie. Icebox says, I would like to have the precious metals fondled by I would like that precious metal fondled by Frank. I missed the olive oil. Hey, you know what? There's going to be so much olive oil at the spring fling because I had more sent to me. And I'm going to be giving away a lot of great. There's going to be honey from Greece there, salt from Greece there. There, I'm fondling the coins. Whoever gets this is going to be well fondled coins. Let's see here. Icebox, an EMP says, could I sit next to Anthony and take this conversation in? I have no pants on. That's it. If you guys, you and Anthony can sit in the like I don't know, like the rafters and just be this. Whether we were sitting around the.
I'm sorry, he has no pants on.
Nobody watches this show with pants on.
Yeah.
But Anthony would be, you know, he'd essentially, if we're playing Star Fox or Zelda or anything else like that, he would just prefer to watch other people play a game. And what?
Oh yeah, I was definitely. I just wanted to see games being played. I think it was better for me because whenever I would play Zelda or any of those games, I'd get stuck like. Oh, I don't know. I'd get stuck against a wall somewhere, and I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Get me the fuck out of here. Anyway, yeah, that's that wonderful night. Okay, so now Chris. I've got you. You came bearing gifts here, and this one is for the studio, but you have one that you want to give away. I'm going to wait until we have a week that I can dedicate a whole week to doing a raffle or something like that. But damn, man, there is a lot in here, and all your books are in this box set.
Yes,
and
that's the three first books. It says the first arc, so there's going to be 3 arcs altogether. So there's 3 trilogies.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the first trilogy. I'm still writing the 4th book as we speak.
We have a story told, written by Chris Leparco, in his name, and then of his might.
Yes.
And this is the first of what is going to be 3 trilogies.
Yeah. So it'll be 9 books altogether.
So you've got a lot of material, man.
And there's the whole online series thing. So there's already 2 online series. And online series titles are Man or Machine, and then it has another title after it. So there's going to be at least 4 more Man or Machine online series that are going to come out in between books.
Look at this, and that's you did the artwork yourself.
I did all the artwork myself. That's the sword from the series, the Word of God sword, real metal replica sword. It's legit.
Wow.
Yeah. I also gave you some T-shirts. I gave him some stickers. There's some bookmarks, and I even gave him some plush aliens from Nebo Global Enterprises.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to.
I gotta
the
grab
away.
one of those and show it on camera.
Please do, because we're gonna have several more layers of alien disclosure soon, and that'll be great to have some aliens to give away, because let's see it. Let's see this green demon.
Yeah, he's definitely the cutest demon you're ever gonna see in your life. I'm trying to see where this thing opens so I could take him out.
Come on, you used to pick up mailboxes.
I know. Try not to destroy the bag.
Now there you go.
Look how cute this guy is.
Now that's a plush every kid needs.
Come on, look. The cutest demon you've ever seen in your life.
Worship me.
Yeah, exactly.
Worship,
right.
please. Yo, I don't know. Okay, well, so Chris, where can people check it out? I have this over here. A Story Told.
A StoryToldBook.com.
A StoryToldBook.com.
Yep, a StoryToldBook.com. And it has all my social media links are on there as well. I'm most active on Instagram. So if you guys are on IG, check me out. It's also Story Told Book on there. But yeah, I do a lot on there. I have the website up. Lots of information about the books, about me. So definitely check it out. And you can get box sets on there. You can get stickers, all kinds of stuff. But this guy, you can get him on NeboGlobal.com or Walmart.com.
Oh.
He is on Walmart.com. Just search Nebo, and he will show up.
Well, well, you know what? A couple of people out there are going to be able to win them soon. So I thank you for your generosity.
No, of course.
And seriously, every time that you're in town, let's get at least this group together.
I would love to. This would be awesome.
That would be awesome. And in the meantime, I know the time zones are a little messed up when you're in China, but you can always call in if something big happens and you just want to comment on something. We can always do that.
I would love to call in from China.
You can zoom in.
Yeah.
Like what time is it right now in China?
What time is it here? 9 o'clock. So it's 9 in the morning.
It's
12 hours ahead right now.
That's not bad.
So they don't do the daylight savings and all that stuff. So right now we're 12 hours difference. They're 12 hours ahead, and then when we go back, they're 13 hours ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, everybody can find Johnny.
Santa Paranormal.
Santa Paranormal. This is the Instagram.
Yep, that's the Instagram.
I just followed you.
Awesome. I'll give you a follow.
Nice.
So there you go. I just followed you there. Santa Paranormal. You're gonna be going live in a little bit.
In an hour. I'm gonna be. So the live stream is on TikTok and YouTube,
And I'm also, on Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. But the live stream itself happens on YouTube and TikTok.
Well, hell, this is going to be. I'm really happy that you guys came in tonight.
Yeah, thank you for the
thank
invite,
you for
man.
having
This is
us,
great.
man. This
was
was
fun.
awesome.
And we just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much more. We didn't even get to talk about Crawford Park.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be context for it next time you come on because
Yes.
we have the spring fling there on, and we've had several parties there over the years, but this is going to be our first adult one. Well, not adult like that. It's not going to be like come to the Crawford Park orgy. But anyway, thank you guys all so much. AStoryToldBook.com, Chris Laparco, Johnny, Santa Paranormal, Anthony, Vincent, and me. It's Frank. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7:00. We've got another good one. We have Alberto Marchetti in the room and Vinny Brusco. They'll also be hanging out with us.
They're coming tomorrow?
Yeah. This could be 4 nights in a row for you. So Anthony might be on the show again tomorrow, and so just look out for that. And that's it. Have a good night, everybody. Let me make sure that I didn't miss out on anybody with the super chats. No, yeah, Grandma Grateful gonna need to rewatch it. I was late tonight, and Jay Semo says, cheers, Frank. Cheers to you all. Thank you so much for everything. We'll catch you on the flip side. Stostu with an EMP. See you Friday, Frank. I'll see you, I love you. Thank you so much. What a wonderful evening. Don't go anywhere. The link for this flip side will be in the description. We'll do music for like 15 minutes. Johnny has to get out of here, so I want to get out. Catch you on the flip. QuiteFrankly.tv if you can't find the link.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Oh, yes. Quite Frankly is filmed for a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starring Stostube, ST, Zoso Dude, CN Peaker, Jay Brits, Genie Yankee Fan, and everybody on Pilled, everybody on Rumble. We'll get to you all again. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you're at. Make sure you are making clips of this show. Make sure that you are liking and commenting. Be a part of it, guys. That is how we bring it to the next level and defeat the algorithm hell. Talk to you soon.